About these, this is to go with my speech. If you can go ahead and take one and pass it around, I'd appreciate it. To go with the theme of the night, you know, this is kind of relevant in my life. I'm about to get some Bose headphones from my girlfriend. And if you're going on a long trip with some other people, it's probably a good idea to bring some headphones, because that's, depending on the amount of hours you're going to be with them, you know, you may want to drown some noise out and listen to your music. But to go on my speech, the title of my speech tonight is Find a Bigger Problem. Now, you may be wondering what the heck I mean with this, where I'm going to go with this, but I'll eventually get to it, hopefully. But how many of y'all had problems today occurred? I know they occurred to me. They probably occurred to you. It could have been that your boss told you to do some work that wasn't in your job description. You're like, that's not my job, but you had to do it anyways. You could have gotten an email from somebody, and it could have been rude, and you wanted to pick up the phone and tell them what you really thought of them, but you know, it's little problems like that. Somebody could have cut you off on the road on the way over here, and you could have got pissed off. We get pissed off for all sorts of little things. So what I'm suggesting for you is to find a bigger problem. So this is what I have done. I found a humongous problem in my life that may not ever be able to get fixed, and I passed out the flyer a little bit about it. And that is Cherish Our Children International. And I'll refer to it as COCI, so it's a little bit shorter. So as you might imagine, Cherish Our Children International is a nonprofit organization that helps fund organizations that serve underprivileged children. So what I want to tell you tonight is 3 organizations that they help fund of the many. I'd like to tell you about Team COCI and how they get involved through triathlons and racing events. And then also I'd like to tell you a personal story that a gentleman was able to raise over $32,000 for one of his races. So my first main topic is the organizations, and the first one is No More Victims. No More Victims, what that is it helps mentor children when both their parents are incarcerated. It helps lead them in the right direction. They do counseling. They do they provide kind of a bright spot for children, so that they know that there's opportunity out there, because they may not have seen it in their life. What they find is that 70% of children when both parents have been incarcerated, there's a 70% chance that the kid will be incarcerated as well. So what this organization does is try to break that vicious cycle that keeps on repeating. The second organization that COCI helps fund is an organization out of Serbia, and this is really sad. In Serbia, what they do, if you have a handicapped child and you don't want it, you just kind of leave it on its own, and you let them fend for themselves. So it's hard enough to be a kid and kind of raise yourself. I can't imagine somebody doing that. But on top of that, being handicapped and being put in a room where you basically have nothing for you. So what this organization does is they help provide food, shelter. They help kids learn basic skills so that they can function in the real world. Very, very great organization that COCI is involved with. The last one I'd like to tell you about is an organization out of Kenya, Africa. And this is very similar to the one in Serbia, where parents kind of disown their children, and the kids are left alone. So what this organization does is they help teach them basic skills, and they try to incorporate these skills so that they can go into the real world and function normally. Hopefully, that is the goal. So if you can kind of it's hard to get the grasp of that, but that's a huge problem to have. So whenever you have a huge problem like that, and somebody cuts you off, or your job is, you may get fired. At the end of the day, it's not that significant compared to things like that. Next, I'd like to talk to you about Team COCI and how they get involved in triathlons. It's a little bit more positive. It's not. It's a way. A lot of people do triathlons. They do marathons and things like that. And for example, an Ironman, what that is a 2.4 mile swim, 112 mile bike ride, and a 26.2 mile run. And what they found is people trying to do that, they can never complete it, but when they get behind an organization like Team COCI and they get involved with that, they're able to finish because they know it's more about them. And I'm kind of jumping around right there because what Team COCI does is it lets you pick one event a year for your triathlon or race, and you raise money for that event. So you can tell your family, you can tell your coworkers, and not only does it raise money, but more importantly, I think what it does is it brings awareness so people know that what you're doing. So that's a short summary of that. Last, I'd like to tell you a story. Bill Ballmeyer is friends of my girlfriend, with me and my girlfriend, and we went up to Dallas a few months ago, and his event was the Dallas Triathlon. He was doing a sprint triathlon. Well, he ended up raising $32,000 for this event, and he finished second overall. The winner raised $36,000 for her organization. But it was interesting. I was like, I'm a very analytical person, so I'm like, what's driving this guy? What's going on? I don't get it. What's motivating him? And I didn't get it until a few days ago, and I realized, that's his bigger problem that he has. I mean, if he's trying to figure out how to raise money for kids, that makes his other problems seem pretty small. So that's a little bit about Cherish Our Children. I hope you learned more about it. I passed on the flyer. I invite you, if you'd like to learn more about it, if you'd like to volunteer, if you're interested, please get in touch with me. I'd love to tell you more about it. Thank you.